Today, you have a bed, a cozy room, a soft pillow, and a warm blanket waiting for you every night. But have you ever wondered what humans did before any of that existed? Before bedrooms, before mattresses, before pillows? Where did ancient humans sleep? And more importantly, how did they survive the night? Imagine the sun disappearing over a landscape with no streetlights, no locked doors, and no warm house waiting nearby. For ancient humans, nighttime wasn't simply the time to rest. It could be cold, dangerous, and unpredictable. And yet, every single night, they had to do something our bodies still demand today. Sleep. So where did they sleep? The obvious answer might be the ground. But sleeping directly on the ground creates a surprising number of problems. The earth can be cold, it can be damp, it can be hard, and underneath the leaves and soil are insects, parasites, and other creatures that would make a terrible bedmate. So ancient humans had to solve a problem that seems incredibly modern. How do you make the place where you sleep safer and more comfortable? And their solution may have started with something as simple as grass. Thousands of years before modern mattresses, humans were already collecting plant material and creating sleeping surfaces. At archaeological sites in southern Africa, researchers have discovered evidence of ancient bedding made from grasses and other plants dating back tens of thousands of years. One remarkable example comes from Border Cave in South Africa, where researchers found layers of plant material that appear to have been deliberately used as bedding around 77,000 years ago. Think about that. 77,000 years ago, long before cities, electricity, or even agriculture, someone was gathering plants and creating a place to sleep. But why? Because a pile of dry vegetation can do something surprisingly useful. It separates your body from the ground. That thin barrier can help reduce heat loss, making sleep easier in cold conditions. It also creates a softer surface than bare earth or stone. So what looks like a primitive pile of grass may actually represent a clever piece of survival technology. But then another problem appears. The same warm, protected environment that makes a bed comfortable can also attract insects. And ancient humans may have had a solution for that too. Fire. At some prehistoric sites, researchers have found evidence suggesting that old bedding material was periodically burned and replaced. Burning the material could clear away old organic matter and potentially help control insects and parasites. And suddenly, the ancient bed starts looking less primitive. It wasn't just something people threw onto the floor. It could be maintained, replaced, cleaned, and deliberately positioned. In other words, humans weren't simply sleeping wherever they happened to collapse at the end of the day. They were changing their environment to make sleep safer. But there was another major problem. Predators. Imagine falling asleep outside in complete darkness. You can't see what's moving around you. You can't lock a door. You don't have walls protecting you from everything outside. And unlike humans today, ancient people couldn't simply assume that the night would be quiet. Large predators were part of many prehistoric environments, so choosing where to sleep may have been one of the most important decisions of the day. A cave could provide protection. A rock shelter could block wind and rain. Dense vegetation could provide concealment. And fire could provide warmth and light. But caves weren't perfect. They could be cold, they could be wet, and they could already belong to another animal. So imagine entering a cave at night and discovering that something else has already claimed it. Suddenly, finding a place to sleep becomes a negotiation with the entire ecosystem. And this is where human intelligence became incredibly valuable. Humans could modify their surroundings. We could move rocks, gather plants, build barriers, control fire, and create surfaces specifically for sleeping. Most animals have to sleep with whatever environment they are given. Humans began changing the environment itself, and that ability would eventually transform everything. Because once you can create a sleeping surface, you can improve it. Once you can improve it, you can build a shelter around it. And once you have a shelter, you can start separating sleeping from the rest of daily life. But there is something even more interesting about ancient sleep. Humans probably didn't always sleep alone. For much of our evolutionary history, sleeping as part of a group may have provided important advantages. People could share warmth, children could sleep close to adults, and being surrounded by other people could provide an extra layer of protection. If one person woke up because of a strange sound, others might wake too. We don't know exactly how prehistoric groups organized nighttime security, and we should be careful not to imagine a specific system without evidence. But the basic evolutionary problem is obvious. When you're asleep, you're vulnerable, and humans are social animals, so the people around you may have been part of your protection. Your ancient bedroom may not have been a private room at all. It may have been a shared space filled with family, firelight, tools, food, and conversation. And that tells us something fascinating. The ancient sleeping area wasn't necessarily just for sleeping. It could be the center of life. During the day, people could prepare food there, make tools, repair clothing, talk, teach children. And after the sun disappeared, the same space became a place to rest. The modern bedroom separates these activities. Ancient humans often didn't have that luxury. Their shelter had to do everything. But not everyone had a cave, and not everyone lived in a cold environment. Across different landscapes, humans developed different ways of getting through the night. In some environments, sleeping above the ground could provide advantages. A raised surface could reduce contact with damp soil and potentially make it harder for some insects and other creatures to reach you. Later, humans built raised beds from wood and other materials. But the basic idea is ancient. Don't just sleep on the environment. Change the environment to suit you. And this may be one of the most important things about the history of the bed. A bed is really a technology. It solves a problem. Your body needs sleep, but the natural environment isn't designed around human comfort. So humans began engineering the place where sleep happened. First, perhaps, with leaves and grass, then animal skins, then woven plant fibers, then wooden structures, and eventually, mattresses filled with increasingly sophisticated materials.
The stars were ground.
It may have been humanity's first piece of home, and perhaps something else happened there. Stories, parents teaching children, knowledge passed from one generation to the next. Long before books, schools, or written language, the campfire may have been humanity's very first classroom. So perhaps every night offered two kinds of survival, one for the body and one for the mind.